gentlemen, welcome to CAGcast episode number 620. I'm your host, CheapyD, here in Long Island, New York. And as always, we're joined by a man who's also delayed to the fall, Wombat.
Mentally.
Whatever that means.
Mentally delayed to the fall.
That means if I ask you a question now, I won't hear the answer until October?
Until October.
Huh. It's going to be
September
a long
20th.
show.
So, yeah. That's okay. That's what the fans want.
You can edit it in post.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Take out the silences.
Exactly.
Well, welcome to the show, everybody. All the games,
Thank
all
you.
the big games are being delayed.
Mm-hmm.
So not a lot of big news topics to talk about. Other than
No, it's very quiet in the game world this for right now. It's very strange.
The biggest news item on my feed this week was The Witcher getting an anime.
Yes, and of course game delays.
Game delayed.
Anything happen at PAX South?
Oh,
Is
that
the
was
one that
a
just
thing?
happened?
Thorban was there. He did a panel.
There were no riots. So,
Good.
you know, that's always a plus.
They probably played some games.
Mm-hmm. A good time was had by all.
Sausages were probably consumed.
Sausage parties were probably attended.
Yes.
PAX South.
Represent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wish we had a PAX Midwest, but I'm looking for biggest news from PAX South.
I don't
I
think
don't know
that's
if
a
there-
place where you go and launch your news.
Yeah, that's like the redheaded stepchild of no offense of PAX's.
I'm not a stepchild.
Doesn't make my joke less funny.
Oh, there's actually a question in the CAG bag that I just found about PAX. I just found it
Go
right
for
now.
it.
Oh yeah.
At Coob00 says coming back to PAX West anytime soon. How about a trip to East or South? What about the largest retro gaming convention in the country, Retro Gaming Expo, Portland Retro Gaming Expo? Oh no, sorry, it's called Portland Retro Gaming. I didn't need to read the Twitter.
We already have the Long Island Retro Gaming. So
it's hard to beat 20 minutes from our house.
yeah, that's like the best.
And Shipwreck, a free flight for Shipwreck to come and hang out.
Exactly. PAX East is in Boston, and that's.
I mean, these guys are welcome to try to make an offer better than that.
yeah. If they reached out to us and said, "Hey, please do a live show at our convention," we'd probably say sure. But
they'd have to,
yeah, that's what I mean. Like they'd have to like really set us up, like the celebrities we are.
right? Piles and piles of cocaine and piles of prostitutes.
Yeah, I mean, I have some stipulations in my rider that they would need to meet.
Right, like asking us to come.
That's the first one,
And
then of course
having a convention.
And then, of course, removing all the brown M&Ms.
Yes. We went to, I've never been to East. Been to West twice. I don't know. It's a lot of people there.
I went to East the first year.
There's a lot of people at West.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
East is probably a lot of people too.
East, yeah, it's pretty busy.
And
They had to
weather's
move
bad.
it after the first year because too many people showed up.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Long Island Retro. Big fan.
It's more our speed.
Yeah. It's good.
We're low-key people.
So
we need a low-key
I
convention.
binged, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I binged biggest PAX South news.
You Bing something? Why did you Bing something?
I don't know. I had the
He likes
browser
those
up.
Microsoft rewards.
Yeah, get those rewards.
All right.
So I can enter some contest and waste those rewards.
Well, I hope your third-rate results are worth the 2 cents you just earned.
The number 2 result for biggest PAX South news
Yes.
is from December 18th, 2018.
What
No,
was the
that doesn't-
news?
Sony at PAX South 2019 with biggest show floor ever.
That's all right.
Exciting. That must have been a good time that year.
That's where all that E3 money went for Sony.
Yep, that's why they can't do it anymore.
They spent it all at PAX.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Windjammers 2 was at PAX South. I'm interested in that.
Sure.
I'm glad you are.
Looks good.
Nobody's denying it. Oh, I
All
had
right,
some.
that's our show.
Yeah. That's our PAX retrospective. I had a pretty good weekend. Long Martin Luther King Day Jr. weekend. We celebrated his memory by playing Dungeons and Dragons with.
How was that? I wanted to ask you, but I knew if I did, it would spoil the show. So, how many people played? That's my first.
It was Ty and two of his friends who were both boys, 13-year-old boys, 12 and 13-year-old boys.
Excellent. And you were the dungeon master?
I was the dungeon master. We did the introductory module that comes with the starter set, the Lost Mines of Philindar or something like that.
That's a good place to start, I would think.
It went pretty well. I'd say like there were two big hurdles. One is 12 and 13 is kind of young to be You have to be really serious about it if you're at 12 or 13 because I feel like their gut instinct is just to fuck around. So they have to really overcome that the ingrained desire to just like start screaming or like kill everything, just try to make people laugh. And that was really hard to overcome. So I had to give them some direction. And also I don't, they changed the rules so much since when I used to play. I had to read all the shit, and I'm not very confident in know that I know all the rules or even like most of the rules. But I find that, I got the Dungeon Master screen, which you got to get, because that hides from the other players that you don't really know what you're doing. So you can just start rolling dice and stuff and be like, oh yeah, like this happened. Or like, oh yeah, you can make any, as the Dungeon Master, you can make anything happen. You don't need a reason. Just, roll some dice and say something happened. So it was pretty fun. I think, the kids wanted to do it again. They seemed to have a good time. One of the kids is like insisted that everybody spoke in their own character voice and have a special voice for their character. And his voice was like a British chimney sweep. But it was a woman, it was a girl. It was very weird. I gotta say.
Hello, Governor.
Yeah, but no, that.
Hello.
No.
I'm here to.
30 years younger. 30
It's
years
also my
younger.
Terry Jones homage.
30 years younger.
Well.
30 years younger than that woman.
Hello, Governor.
No, see, like you're doing somebody who couldn't be going on a Dungeons and Dragons type adventure. They'd be all hunched over.
Here's my sword. I'm going on an adventure.
Right. And then they asked, one of the other, he was like, and this kid was like, yeah, that's my voice. It's a British something. And let me hear your voice. And then the other kid, he doesn't know what he hasn't thought about what voice to do. So he just starts shrieking. And,
It's pretty good.
Right. Because he's like, no, that's not.
Like a siren, no words.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love this character.
Right. I'm like, no. Think of like, and he was a warlock. So I was like, okay, think of a, and they didn't have warlock when I played Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm just like, all right, just think of a anytime you've seen a movie or like some cartoon and there was a warlock in it, think of what that character sounded like and maybe come up with a voice, something like that. And he's like, oh, I've never seen a warlock in anything. I was like, well, imagine if you did. What do you think that would sound? I mean, it was hard. It was pretty hard. I feel like they need another year in the oven.
Where have you seen a warlock?
Harry Potter. Is Harry Potter a warlock?
No, a warlock is a male witch.
He's a wizard. Yeah, I know what a warlock is.
But I don't know the current Dungeons and Dragons rules description of a warlock.
I've seen the movie Warlock. Does that count? With what's his name? Julian Sands.
I feel like a warlock is really just an unsophisticated wizard.
Sure.
Like sometimes you see Merlin in those King Arthur movies. Sometimes Merlin's like a little rough around the edges. You know what I mean?
Was it
Like,
Paul Lind that was on Bewitched? See
don't-
Uncle Arthur?
Yeah, all the kids, they didn't reach into their Bewitched references.
Yeah,
No.
isn't
This is weird.
Uncle Arthur Bewitched, that was Paul Lind, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not 60 years old. I don't
I've
know
never
this.
watched
Wombat.
Yeah, it was Paul Lind. It'd be like, hello, I'm a warlock. See, that would work. Just
Right.
do a Paul Lind impersonation.
You would
He was
love
that
a
match
character in Borderlands, Wombat, that talks exactly like that.
See? It's Paul Lind. It actually was a bad Paul Lind, but that's okay.
Anyway, that was the. It was fun. We played for. I would say we played for about 2 hours, and some of that time maybe was them getting their characters together. But I don't know. It was pretty fun. You know, Ty is completely addicted to the Adventure Zone now, and
Is that why he wanted to play?
I think so. And I told him ahead of time. I said, you know, like the night before, 'cause he was very excited to play, and he'd planned this all out. I said, just so you know, it's not going to be like the Adventure Zone, because you know those guys are all you know very funny guys and experienced, and we're all not that at all. So don't expect the Adventure Zone when we play tomorrow. And he was like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I get it."
Thanks for the pep talk, Dad.
Yeah. I said, I'm sure we have a good time and all, but like, it's not going to be like a laugh a minute, you know. 'Cause
Well, if you ever need me to be the adult in the room when you play again, just let me know.
we really needed 4 people for this adventure as recommended.
I'm trying to help you out here.
So I floated the idea of, you know, what about, you know, getting Mrs. Cheapy, you know, how about Mom
yeah.
plays? And Ty wasn't that into that idea.
That does not
But
surprise
somehow
me at
I
all.
snuck in as like the cool dad that was allowed to play.
Well, you know, they need someone who's gonna be the dungeon master.
So what I'm saying, right, that's true. Right. Good call. They're less discriminating in that way. Like if you have a pulse and you know how to DM and you're willing, then you're in.
Yep.
But yeah, it was pretty fun. I have another sports related story that I want to lead the show with, just because why not? That Gritty article that I sent you earlier.
Yes. Uh-huh.
The dad who is did he officially sue the Flyers?
I don't know if it. I don't
Or
know.
he's sort of threatening to sue.
For those who don't know, someone who a season ticket holder for the Philadelphia Flyers went to a meet and greet with Gritty with his son, and his son tapped Gritty on the head. And as he was leaving, the father alleges that Gritty did a running, flying leap and punched his son in the back.
That's with like full strength.
Full strength. There is no film footage of this. There are no witnesses, and no one can prove that this actually happened. But go on, you were saying.
Well, he
But just look at
complained.
Gritty. Just look at him.
Well, I feel like
He definitely
first of
did
all, I feel like Gritty is a professional at this point, and he knows how to make it look
Not to
like.
punch kids in the back.
Yeah, he knows not to do that. But then again, Mr. Met, you know, flipped off the fans. during
That's
one of the
different, though.
games. It is, but yeah.
That's on brand for Mr. Met.
Is it? But they in the guy's complaint to the management of the Flyers, he said that like he didn't like the picture that was taken. That was the first complaint. Was the picture was blurry that they took of of him, his son, and Gritty, and then Gritty punched my son in the back at full strength.
Anyway, you were telling a story.
But then he said, "Did you see like what he wanted? The dad volunteered some. He had some ideas of how the Flyers could make it up to him, and it was like, what was it like? Letting the kid come into the locker room.
I thought they offered that.
No, they offered the kid sitting on the bench. I think the dad went to them with some suggestions, and the Flyers went back to the dad with, how about the kid sits on the bench during the warm up before the game?
That sounds nice.
It's just like, come on, it sounds so sounds.
I thought you had some breaking news about
No,
this.
I just think that no breaking news. I just feel like it's so obvious when somebody just wants something for free, and there's
I
no real
wouldn't know.
problem there.
I wouldn't know.
Well, you're not going through.
I'm not committing fraud.
Right. You're not, basically threatening to sue somebody for, in like a big uncomfortable lawsuit.
No, I could say this much though. We ordered, because I have this dog, so we did BarkBox for a little while. I didn't.
You
I
love
literally had
getting
nothing
things
to-
in boxes delivered to your
I
house.
had nothing to do with the BarkBox.
Theme
I didn't
subscription boxes.
This one was not me.
Okay.
But it came like last week, and my daughter opened it up, and it was just empty. Just an empty box.
Nice. Wow.
So we emailed them back and said, "Hey, you sent us an empty box," and they didn't question it at all. They were like, sometimes we make mistakes. We'll
Right.
send you out a new box.
Right.
I'm like, really? Does this happen to people like enough where there's not even like a "Are you sure?"
Right.
It was just like, "Nope, we'll send you a new box."
They figure like who would claim that to have happened if it didn't really happen.
Mm-hmm. And then instead of sending us the new box, they,
They
sent
you
us
a dog.
They sent us the October box again, which is
what?
weird because we had the stuff from the October box already.
What's going on over at BarkBox?
I don't know. So we emailed them again. It's like, we really appreciate you sending a box. The treats are fine. Who cares? They're treats.
Right.
But I'm like, but the toys are all the toys that we already had from October that are, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm like, at this point, we don't really care because at least we have stuff. But it was just kind of funny. Exactly like you said, what's going on at BarkBox? So.
So what they say when you told them that
They you know what, they were
Didn't care.
apologetic again, and they're like, "We're really sorry. We didn't realize it was stuff you already had. We're happy to send you more things. Keep what we already sent you. Whatever you don't use, just donate."
Right,
And
right. They didn't get it. They didn't get your complaint.
it's
They
fine.
didn't understand.
It's fine.
BarkBox, the only subscription box company run by dogs.
It might as well. You know what? The people, they mention their dog in every email back. It's like, "Skipper and I are really sorry to hear that you weren't happy with
God, no. It's such bullshit. It's still like a person in India, right?
I don't know. Rex and I were really upset that you didn't like those treats.
Right. Rex the spider monkey.
So, whatever.
BarkBox.
Yeah, it was our last one, apparently, also. Again, that one I had nothing to do with, so I do not care.
All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I like these like fake sports stories. Like they're sort of about sports, but not really.
You mean like Derek Jeter getting into the Baseball Hall of Fame?
No, that's too much sports. I like the stuff that's like on that Brian Gumble show on HBO, real sports.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that.
Anything with Soledad O'Brien is aces in my book.
Right. All right. Let's show feedback. Oh, it's more
Sure.
box talk. How much box talk are we gonna have?
Box talk. All right. Wendell Lemon had to say, "Let Wombat enjoy his different boxes if they bring him joy. Quit busting his chops over them. I found the Arby's contents interesting and look forward to hearing what future Coca-Cola boxes have to offer." That's
Soda and something else that's not worth it, and a gift card.
yeah, maybe,
Amazon gift card.
maybe. And you know what? Our show listeners want to know every month.
Great.
I've got good news for you, Wombat. You have a mystery box coming from me to you.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
We're not allowed to
Nice.
open it until the next show.
Okay, that's fair.
You can unbox it
I will unbox
live
it
on
on
the podcast.
oh my god.
That works for me. That's
Is that a
fun. I'm excited.
5-way subscription. 5-way of the month club.
My Cincinnati special box.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to really read this entire next bit of feedback here.
No.
So
And I already cut it down from what was already there. But Dran wrote a very nice long post.
Too long, Dran. What are you doing?
He
You gotta
says that he was.
self-edit, Dran. You gotta
He basically
self-edit.
says he's been a listener for 10 years, and he wanted to give us props for our enduring commitment to the show. Out of all the podcasts he listened to, he feels most in tune with ours because we're the same age and we share the same interests. And he'd just like to thank us for being a part of his life for 10 years. I
You're welcome.
paraphrased. Does that
You're
work for you,
welcome. That was
Cheapy?
good. I like
That's
that.
good.
Like your live edit.
Thanks. I got skills to pay the bills.
Right. Thanks, Dran. Thanks for listening for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Nerdy dudes, unite.